In this short presentation, my objective is to cover what's required from a past performance perspective to qualify for Oasis Plus IDIQ. I'm gonna talk about this topic in kind of a generic sense so that it applies to any and all domains. And I'm going to focus on the qualifying projects. So this builds off of the webinar that we held last week, and it is part of our templates, tools, and solutions package that we're pulling together and will be making available in early January for clients who need support tools to build their Oasis proposal. Okay, so that's what we're doing. I want to talk about it from the perspective of past performance. Capture for Oasis Plus is really all built around past performance. That's really all it is. You can win, you can get enough points to qualify for an award without worrying about system certifications, clearances, accounting systems, any of that stuff. Just thinking about past performance. But in order to do that, you have to select the right projects. And within that, it comes down really to your best 5 qualifying projects. Okay, so that was really the point of this slide. You need multiple projects so that you can war game in your portfolio what points you're getting. I'm going to show you an annotated copy of the scoring sheet that I'll make available with this presentation. But step 1 in your capture is to select your projects. Okay, so a couple of things to note. One is recency. There's a 5-year window. So that means that there has to be performance on the contract within 5 years of, I believe it's the RFP release date. Now that it's a continuous on-ramp, they may give us some more details once they release the new RFP. But so now I think you can safely say if you've got a contract where you've had some level of performance after February of 2021, it would be acceptable from a date recency perspective. Then you need to think about relevance. Okay, relevance relates to the domain. So in your RFP, go get a copy of the latest amendment of the RFP that was released back in 2023, and go to section C.2 and look at the domain definitions. Management and advisory is C.2.1, technical and engineering is C.2.2. And you'll see that within each of these, there are tables, a 2-column table with bullets that starts to answer the question of what is relevant. Also at the top above the table, it gives you some description of how GSA sees this domain. And then there's a subsection with the NAICS codes. So the work either the contract needs to have this NAICS code, management advisory 5416 11 12 13 14, etc. Or the work performed that you're quoting needs to fit one of these general areas. Don't worry if the contract listed NAICS code is different than what's in this list. That's not really a problem if we can write a good narrative and show that we've got the minimum average annual value worth of content in that scope of work. Okay, so first step in relevance is to go to the domain. We've already talked about recency. Now let's talk about scoring, and let's take a look at the scoring sheet. So I have gone ahead and annotated the Amendment 8 draft JP1 self-scoring matrix, and I've done it for all domains, and I'll make a copy of this available with the presentation wherever you download it. All of these columns kind of after F and all this stuff up here at the top are my annotations to the government supplied sheet. This is the format that we use with our clients to define the projects that go into their domain scoring. Okay, you need some kind of tool that lets you collect all this data in a managed, organized fashion so that you can war game your capture, essentially. That's why I've listed 7 projects. You really only need 5, or there's a maximum of 5 that you can submit for each domain. So up here, go ahead and list this out. So if this is your company, put your company here. If this is a subcontractor, put the name of the subcontractor up here so you know who owns this contract. Then talk about the agency, talk about the program, whatever the name is here. Put the contract number, the listed NAICS code, product service code, what's the period of performance, both the begin date and the end date, your total contract value, and then calculate your average annual value using 366 days in a year. Put all this data up here for each of your 7 projects. And then down here below, these are just notional numbers that I've used in this particular sheet. Go ahead and type in the numbers that you're getting. Look at the definition here in column D. So if your average annual value is greater than $1 million a year or 5 FTEs, go ahead and give yourself a point. If your average annual value is greater than 4 million or 20 FTEs, then you can give yourselves 2 points. Give yourself 2 points for this second contract that we've been starting to talk about. You'll notice that the spreadsheet recalculates, and your total that I've highlighted down here in red recalculates. So go through here, put your data up here at the top, add your points here. For your federal experience projects, these are multiple award task orders. So task orders that are awarded on a GSA multiple award schedule, on an agency or other GWAC or an IDIQ or a multiple award BPA. It does have to be both multiple award and it has to be competitive. And you demonstrate that with an FPDS report. So if you don't have an FPDS report, it's more difficult to make the verification. It is possible, but I would lean on projects that you can get from your own company or from subcontractors, where there's a current, valid, correct FPDS report available. Then we can submit that and we can claim these points. Okay, so go ahead and put your project details here where I kind of left those little notes, and then put your score here for how many of those that you get. You also want, as much as possible, to source qualifying and federal experience projects from 3 or more agencies so that you get this 1 extra point. And we do that with FPDS reports as well. So those need to come from prime contracts, not subcontracts. Okay. Remember, as we said in the webinar and as is listed clearly in the RFP, you can pull points from projects in the red, in the blue and green section. So both qualifying and federal experience projects, you can pull points from contracts that you own as the prime Oasis Plus bidder or from any of your teammates. But be aware that if you're bidding one of the small business or socioeconomic set-aside contracts, Hub Zone, 8A, woman-owned, disabled veteran-owned, that your teammates have to also be small for all of the NAICS codes that you're bidding. So CLINs get added to your contract. You can see here in section C.2, based on the NAICS codes that you qualify for with small as a small business bidder or as a small business team. So let's just take, for instance, if you want 541613 marketing consulting services to be a CLIN on your Master Oasis Plus contract in the management and advisory domain, then you need to represent your company as small under the $19 million size standard, and all of your teammates that are contributing projects to your proposal also must represent in their SAM registration as small for this NAICS code under 19 million. So as you're recruiting partners, recruit partners who meet the size standards, the NAICS code size standards that you want on your contract. If you don't care about 541613 because you don't bid that kind of work, if all you want is 541611, maybe 541612, then you can find partners that are less than 24.5 million and qualify as small under 541611. You can leave some of these others off. Okay, but do that analysis. Okay, it all is based upon how your complete team represents as small. So the lowest number of everybody on the team goes to what cleanse will be added to your master contract. Okay, so keep that in mind. The last point I want to make about qualifying projects, and you need to keep this in mind as you're soliciting them from your teammates and as you're offering your past performance to other primes where you will be their subcontractor, is always keep in mind the rule, what we call the rule of one. So this really is one of the most critical teaming constraints in Oasis Plus. Okay, what does the rule of one say? It says that you can't use a single past performance reference in more than one domain and solicitation. Okay, so over here on the left is a great example of the rule of one where you get into a violation state. Okay, you've got Project X, and it was used on Prime A's M&A small business proposal, and it was also used on Prime B's M&A small business proposal. In that, when that condition happens, in those circumstances, this Project X would be removed from both proposals, and neither bidder would get points for Project X. What is allowed? You can use Project X on an M&A small business proposal, and then on a different vendor's technical and engineering small business proposal, or of course the same, but you can't use it in the same solicitation and domain pair, right? So in this case, small business M&A, you can't use it twice. The rule of one is described in detail in section L. We covered it in our webinar, and there's lots of content out on the internet and on LinkedIn about how you can stay clear of this constraint and how you need to think about your past performance. So consider the rule of one when you're selecting past performance from your teammates. Make sure you query your teammates and make sure, get them to state clearly in writing that they have not given this past performance to another prime. Otherwise, if you use it and someone else has used it, it'll be removed from everybody's proposal, and you're likely suffer a situation where you won't have enough points to win an award. I hope that this annotated self-scoring sheet helps you. You can see here I've just run some notional numbers and not given this this example any points down here, and you can say we're at 41 over 36, which puts us clearly in the winning zone points-wise. Okay, so success and winning and qualifying for a contract award on Oasis Plus lives and dies, begins and starts, or starts and ends, all with projects, past performance, and especially with qualifying projects. So these up here in the blue, in this T&E domain, they need a $500,000 minimum average annual value, and then you can see the definitions here. Read these carefully, consult the Q's and A's that were published. There's lots of information there to help you out. Send us questions, and we'll do our best to answer them. We'll be largely off during the Christmas week, so we'll be back just before the new year. I hope that helps. There's contact information up here at the top of this sheet. Reach out to us. Let us know how we can help. All the best to you and your company on Oasis Plus. We also want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year if you're consuming this content prior to Christmas. And we're looking forward to 2026. We wish you all the best.